Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. I have learned so much from her. I've put it to use in my own life with my own pets. And I'm talking about being able to communicate with animals. This is what she does. And not just that, she also does psychic readings for us humans, can connect to the other side, whether it's animals or humans, and has lessons, books, CDs, does classes, and so much more. I believe today we're going to pull back the curtain in terms of the communication with animals. I'm intrigued. Shirley Scott is back with us. Hey, Shirley, how you doing?
Good, doing well, Steve. How are you doing?
What's this thing called that we're talking about today?
Okay, it's called infrasound.
Infrasound.
Not ultrasound, infrasound. It's a very, very low frequency sound that some animals use to communicate long distances, because most sounds will hit objects and reflect off of them. The sounds that we hear as humans will do that. It reflects off of things, and a lot of times when a sound hits a wall, it stops. Where infrasound goes through objects. It's very low. We can't hear it. Like whales use it, elephants use it, giraffes, some alligators, and it will go through the air or even through water for 2 to 5 miles. And they use it to communicate with each other over very long distances. And we can't hear it. However, we sometimes can feel it because it does travel. It will travel through bones and through tissue. It's a very low frequency that travels through things. And sometimes if we're out and about in the wild and it's like we feel a pressure coming, or it's usually felt in our chest and our head. It's a pressure that we go, where the heck is that coming from? And then it'll go away. But it's like, I think it's 20 hertz is it. And we can't hear it. We can't hear it. And it can go as low as like 7. And they do say that, like ghosts, okay, ghosts have very low frequencies, so we can't always hear them, but we can feel them. You can feel that something is here. You feel fear, we feel, upset, or, something like that. That is these very low frequencies that a human ear cannot hear.
I want to make sure I understand this right. And by the way, 20 hertz is usually the baseline. Like any kind of audio equipment, you buy a pair of headphones, you have a speaker system. Usually the specifications start at 20 hertz. Does that mean that we can clearly hear 20 hertz? Depends on your ear. Maybe not. It's the same thing as when they say it goes from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Can we hear 20 kilohertz? I don't know that anybody can.
I don't know if anybody can, but infrasound is usually like 7.
7 hertz?
Yeah.
Wow. So I want to make sure I have this clear. Are you saying that if we feel something, like some kind of strange pressure within our head, that it could be an animal trying to communicate through infrasound?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. As a matter of fact, they're even, and I watched a show a couple weeks ago, about Bigfoot, because, they're trying to prove that Bigfoot is real. Mm-hmm. And they did some infrasound speakers. They set them up in this wooded area and sent out this very low frequency and had equipment that could read it, of course. The humans felt it. They couldn't hear it, but the equipment got an answer back. Now, they don't know if it was Bigfoot or if it was another animal in the forest that can send out these infrasounds, but they did get an answer. They measured it on this piece of machinery.
Wow. This is like pretty wild. So let's say you're feeling that heaviness. Is it your pet potentially trying to send communication by low frequency? Or you could be just walking through the woods and there's a squirrel, and wow, I get a weird feeling in my head. Could that squirrel be sending something out to you?
Absolutely. And it's also, and not every animal does this. It is more like the bigger animals. But when they do it, they could also be sending out a warning for the rest of their species that are around them. Like, here comes a human. And because this infrasound does not bounce off things or end when it hits things, it can travel like I say, 2 to 5 miles. And any animal in that area can get this and know that there is some sort of intruder or something in that big of a range. Now, I think I have watched deer because I have a small herd that I go out and play with every day. I have about 24 of them. And I have watched mother deer send their babies. They look at them, and you cannot hear a sound, but the babies will stop dead and turn around and look at them. And I'm like, okay, they've got to be doing infrasound because I can't hear that. But the babies can hear it, and the mothers can hear it. It's really fascinating to watch them. Their mouth does not move really. Might be a little bit of a lip movement, but it's such a low frequency, but the babies can hear it, and they stop and turn around and look at their mom.
Fascinating. So that's essentially, from what you're saying, that's essentially what's going on there when animals communicate with other animals?
Yeah. Yeah. They hear the infrasound, and whatever energy is behind it could be happy, it could be warning, it could be just, where are you? There's so many different reasons that they would communicate like that. And think about, whales communicating with each other to find their pod if they get separated, and they can send out this sound that we can't hear, but other whales can hear it up to 5 miles away through the water.
Is this when we hear about that communication between whales and they're sending something out, could that be similar to this?
Yes, because a lot of the equipment that they have for the whales, we can't hear it, but the equipment can, and that's where, we can get some sounds we can hear. However, the whales do, communicate on another level too, where we can hear it. But to really hear this infrasound, we can't do it, but we can register it on machines that can. We'll see the spikes or we'll see the sound, but our ear cannot hear 7 hertz.
Sure. Absolutely. But to your point, we can feel something.
Yes.
And if you want to even test that, my high-end hearing isn't what it used to be just from wearing headphones for decades. But I will say this, when there's a very high-pitched sound, and others have said the same thing too, whether you can hear it or you can't, whether it's way up there in frequency, it's just annoying. You can't even describe. It's like, I don't know. I think I hear it, but I don't. But you're feeling it. You're detecting something. So that seems what this infrasound is. Wow.
It is. Yeah, it is. And so if you really start watching animals, you may not hear what they're hearing, but they're going to pick something up. But, pay attention to what you feel in your body, because if you feel, and it's going to make humans feel kind of off, like, whoa, there's, my chest feels funny, or my head is sort of vibrating, or, I just don't feel right. That is the infrasound that you are going to, and it doesn't last long because it goes through you. And when a sound goes through you, you have to feel it. It's sort of like people have said, I think a ghost walks through me, because they get a weird feeling or a shiver or something. And the ghost probably has, because the tendency for those types of spirits, their frequency is very low. It's just, it's so low that we can't feel it a lot of times, or see it a lot of times, or hear it, but we can feel it for sure.
Amazing. So I want to confirm again that this is how animals communicate. This is how they're doing it between each other?
Many times, yes.
Okay. If they're not using infrasound, how are they communicating?
By their thoughts.
Okay. So call it telepathy.
Yes.
Interesting. It's crazy. But not. I mean, I felt it. I felt that like heavy feeling. And I can't identify it. It was probably an animal trying to communicate.
Right. And it's really hard for us, because we can't actually hear it, we just feel it, to figure out where it's coming from. Because it travels through us, so we don't know exactly where it's coming from because we can't hear it. All we can do is feel it. And even if you turn around in a circle, you're going to feel it from, it's kind of a sound that comes from everywhere.
The challenge is, as you said, it can travel for many distances. So is it reasonable to think that you might be feeling something, but you might not even see, the wild animal that might be trying to communicate with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That wild animal could be up to 5 miles away from you. It could be on, you're hiking through the woods and there's a ridge 5 miles away, and there's an animal up there that goes, oh dear, look, there's somebody in our territory, because they can usually see us or smell us, and they'll send out a warning. It's like crows. If you're walking through the forest and a crow sees you, that crow's going to let everybody in the world know where you are.
I'm getting that. It's almost as if they're trying to tell you that, would they be doing it this way? Would an animal be saying, I'm letting you guys know I'm here and stay away from me? I'm just throwing it out there. And it's almost like a fire alarm going off that everybody can hear around, 4 miles, whatever it might be.
Exactly. Yeah. And so everybody around that can, take in this infrasound is going to go, okay, heads up, everybody, because there's a warning. And it's a communication that these animals can pick up and really know where things are, or they start looking around and smelling. And yet there's a whole communication system that's going on out there 24/7 that we can't even hear. And most people are not attuned to their body enough to even feel it.
It's like it's fascinating how the communication is going between animals, and if it's not specific, would it be a blanket? Like, okay, so you might be receiving something 2 miles away. You don't even see the animal. Are they sending it to somebody specifically, or would they just be broadcasting it?
That just depends. In like, I'm going to use whales as an example, and they're looking for their pod. So they're sending out a certain communication to their pod. And whales know who's supposed to be in their pod and not, just by their communication. And so, a lot of the other animals will ignore it, or they'll say, oh, there's a whale looking for, their pod or something. We better get out of here. We're food. So it depends. But if there is a threat to the area where an animal is, it will be a general, hey, everybody, there's a human in the area. Or, if there's a predator in the area, then they'll send out this blanket of,
okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like the fire alarm.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Just letting you know, hey guys, we got something over here. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm letting you all know. I'm infrasounding at 7 hertz. I'm sounding off. Essentially, I'm sounding off.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How can we use this in our attempt to communicate with animals, whether they're pets or whether they are wild animals?
Well, when you feel it, you should stop and send out a message of your own, basically, where you think love and peace and be grounded and more of, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm in this peaceful area, and I'm okay. And the more you think that, the more they're going to get it. Hunters have asked me when they're out hunting for deer, it's like, why don't I see any deer with horns? Because around here you can only shoot the bucks. All I see is does. And I tell them, during hunting season, there's hundreds of people that are going out there, and they're visualizing killing this buck with horns. And so the deer get that. They go, okay, if I got horns, I got to hide. Where the doe go, well, I don't have horns, I don't have to hide because these people are showing me they're not going to shoot me. And so it's the same aspect of if you go out into the woods and you really have this non-threatening energy about you, they will get that. I mean, it won't save your life if a grizzly comes up and wants to eat you. I mean, it's not going to save you, but at least through the warning signal, you have this energy that will go back to them. And it may not hit them right away, but it will. See, telepathy is an energy that goes through anything also, where sound doesn't. So if the infrasound comes out and you come back with the telepathy, those two things go through anything, where our sound is high enough that if you are calling out to them with your voice, it's going to hit a tree and go dead. I mean, that's an example, but that's what happens. And so, because our frequency is higher and it doesn't go through anything.
So you brought back a picture for me when, and I shared with you, one of my cats had an accident. Tail got caught in a snack table and started pulling the table around the house by his tail. Crazy. His tail was okay. After a few days, it was determined. However, during that whole ordeal, and I freed him from the table, there was a lot of, angst with that. I sent him a message saying, "You're okay. I have you. I'm going to take care of you. You don't have to worry. I got you, buddy. It's all right." Ever since then, it's a different cat. He is mushy, sweet, not skitterish. He'll walk up to me and just give me a meow. He's trying to tell me something. I believe I sent that telepathically to him. He received it and he understood it. There's not even a doubt in my mind, Shirley. Does that sound reasonable?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He got it completely. And now he's showing you, you know what? You sent that to me. I got it, and I know you're going to be my protector, and I'm just going to be right around you, because if anything scares me like that again, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
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 Would a human be able to use infrasound? Would they be able to generate it or even know how to do it?
No, a human can't do it.
Okay.
No, it takes certain vocal aspects that I do not believe humans have at all.
Why do animals have it?
I think it's in them, bred into them as as a communication device, but also as a survival instinct. And they have different vocal cords than humans do.
So when they make this sound, this infrasound, they're emitting it from vocal cords?
I don't think they've proven that yet, but that's my take on it. That it's like a vocal. It's like we can't purr like a cat.
Okay.
and they can't. Science really doesn't know where a cat purrs from yet. It's like, well, it's in its throat, it's in its chest, it's in its something, but they don't really know where a cat purrs from. But a cat's purr is on a frequency that if you have a broken bone, you better let your cat sit on it and purr, because it will help heal that bone. They've proven that.
Wow.
But they don't know exactly, why or how these animals can really make this sound.
See, I didn't know that they haven't figured out what the purr is, and I've heard recently that cats purr to heal themselves.
They do a lot of times, yeah. And a cat will purr even when it's dying sometimes.
Just to reassure itself and just feel comfortable in that moment?
Yep, yeah.
It's fascinating. Wow.
Yeah.
I always thought it was somehow connected to the purring was lungs, heart connected. I'm blown away that we don't know how they purr.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
They still don't know, really. I mean, it's not, yeah, they're guessing, but it's like, how do whales admit the whistling and the sounds that they do? Where does that really come from? Because they have sort of vocal cords on some level, but they're definitely not like humans.
And I Googled infrasound,
and
this is the National Institutes of Health. Now, they're probably talking about not what it emits from an animal, but a certain type of sound. And it's sound therapy used to heal tendons. This is, again, the National Institutes of Health. It's legit. So what they're talking about here is using certain types of sounds, probably, and I haven't gotten to the full article. It's very technical, of what the frequency might be, and that the fact that the sound is used to heal.
Exactly. It's sort of like, ultrasound.
Right.
You can heal with ultrasound. These hertz, the actual vibration of the hertz that do not bounce off of things but go through things is really interesting. It's like white energy and dark energy. Dark energy, when we have light energy, that's what it holds together. It forms everything that we see. White energy. It forms staircases. It forms tables. It's because it's white energy and it sticks together and it forms things. Dark energy does not. You can't see dark energy, although there's a place back east, someplace where they have a vault deep in the ground where nothing can get through it except dark energy. And once in a while they'll see a piece of dark energy going through it. But dark energy can go through anything where light can't. Light can't go through solid objects where dark energy can. But dark energy doesn't stick together to form anything. It's just like molecules floating around. It's like if you look at a moon sometimes and it looks like it's wavy or sort of off or something at night, it's because there's so much dark energy floating around that it distorts it, but we can't actually see the dark energy.
Well,
we don't see light.
Based on all of that, what's profound is what we're talking about. It goes through you as opposed to registers because of such the low frequency. Exactly.
If you shine a flashlight on top of your arm, it's not going to go through your arm and show on the other side. But if you take a piece of dark energy and you let it hit on your arm, it's going to go right through your body. You'll never feel it, but it goes right through your body and out the other side. Dark energy has no boundaries, where light does.
I feel like it's almost peeled the curtains back on animal communication and how they're doing what they're doing. Final question on all of this.
Yeah.
Can all animals do this type of communication?
I don't think all of them can do the infrasound, but they can all do telepathy, yes.
Why can some do infrasound and maybe others not?
There again, I think it's species related to survival.
Okay, evolution. There's a reason that they need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. I learned so much from you. And even in, those challenges that I've come up with and shared, and we all have stories and we learn from our stories. Even the situations with my pets, I may have been doing it, communicating and not even realizing it. Now I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the results. And if anybody says to me, "Oh, come on, Steve, that's not really what's going on," don't hop on my train. I don't really care, because I'm convinced I am now, based on what I've learned from you, Shirley, able to communicate with my pets. It's just wonderful. I have a new connection with them. It's crazy.
I'm so glad.
Have you ever wondered what your pet is thinking?
Wow. What's the one thing you want everybody to know when it comes to communicating with pets?
That we can all do it. Not everybody can do it on my level, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a pet, in some way you're already communicating with them, and I can teach you how to communicate better with them, and it just makes this great connection because we learn so much from animals.
Oh my gosh. And there's so much more to learn, especially from wild animals. I'm sure that they're sending messages all the time. Guess what we are? We're animals too. So they could be sending messages, "Hey, what are you guys doing? You know, you're ruining the environment. You're doing this, you're doing that." But we're not open to it. We're not living in the moment and able to receive that. Best way to find you is your name, right? That's your website?
That's my website, Shirley. There's a -scott.com, and email me. And I would love to help everybody with any problems that they're having with animals or their personal life, too, because I do psychic readings, too.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about that before. If you're interested in that, learning more about psychic readings, look back on some of the previous podcasts. And I'll just say you're up there in the mountains of Oregon. Better to email than sure. Yeah, because you can't receive texts up there.
Nope, can't receive text at all. And a lot of times I'm just on the phone, and our phone system up here doesn't have where the recording comes on if I'm on the phone. It just rings and rings and rings and rings. So best way is email.
Gotcha. Or infrasound. You can use that.
Yeah, there you go.
Shirley, it has been amazing, this journey, learning from you. I truly appreciate all of your insight, and looking forward to we get a chance to get together again sometime.
Okay. Thanks, Steve, so much.
Thank
it's been
you.
A pleasure.
Same here.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.